You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Welcome to the big show, my family and friends. We are on a journey to educate our audience and make you guys smarter, more beautiful, more elegant, more everything. You're just sexier if you listen to the Chris Voss Show. In fact, I think we're going to give shirts that we're going to sell to everybody that says, I am so much more awesomer than you because I listen to the Chris Voss Show podcast. Does that sound like something we should sell to people? I don't know. Might be funny. Might cause some fist fights, though. I don't know. People will be like, well, I don't, but I'm still awesome. But remember, guys, there's so much to learn for the show. 15 years we've been bringing this show, 2 to 3 to 4 episodes a weekday, 15 to 20 new episodes a week. The brilliant minds, the CEOs, the billionaires, the astronauts, the White House advisors, the smartest people on the planet come on the show. And then guess what? There's just me. See what I did there? So I'm the idiot with the mic, bringing you the most wonderful show on the world, and we appreciate you guys being here. As always, that's our lead-in to guilt and shame you into telling your friends, neighbors, relatives to subscribe to the show. Remember, you must have 5 people in your Chris Voss Show downline MLM to have them join the show. Tell them to go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, youtube.com/Chris Voss, and Chris Voss 1 on the tickety-tockety. And also subscribe to that LinkedIn newsletter. And by the way, we're not an MLM. We're just a cult. No, we're not. I'm just going on about it. Today, we're going to be talking about health, wellness, and some of my favorite things. You guys have heard over the years how I've lost weight by eating healthier, eating green, eating live foods, and everything else. And we have an amazing young lady she's on the show with us today. Jesrina Arshad is on the show with us today. She's the CEO and founder of an amazing company that gets back to the basics of that lifestyle and business. She is the CEO and founder of PurelyB. That's PurelyB, one word. And she's going to be talking to us about her amazing company and how you too can be even healthier and more sexier and more awesome and intelligent than you already are because you listen to the Chris Voss Show. She's going to take it up a next level. That's what she's going to do in the show. So I just put a lot of pressure on her that she probably wasn't asking for. She has a BS in multimedia technology and design from the University of Kent and an MA in marketing from Kingston University Business School. Her background has uniquely prepared her to become an entrepreneur in the digital marketing and e-commerce space. Following stints in executive roles at Group M and Astro, the leading consumer media and entertainment group in Southeast Asia, she launched PurelyB in 2015. She's a native of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Not sure if I got that right. Hopefully I did.
Yeah, that's right.
I flunked second grade, where she is. I didn't go to the school she went to, where she is that's why I'm a podcaster and she's not. And she is a descendant of the royal family that currently divides her time as the CEO and co-founder of PurelyB between Malaysia and Los Angeles, California. She might be a podcaster, though. We'll have to ask her. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, Chris. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. There you go. Give us your .com. Where do you want people to find you on the interwebs?
Sure. So in terms of PurelyB, you can go to purelyb.com, PURELYB.com. And we're very active on our Instagram. So at PurelyB or my personal IG DMs. I love really connecting with our followers and consumers at Jess Arshad, JESSARSHAD. And we're also on TikTok on the same handles.
There you go. You guys got about 50,000 followers on Instagram. So you guys definitely have quite the fan base over there. That's pretty awesome. And of course, there's a lot of women on there that want to know how to eat better. People that want to eat better, but I know women are really,
not just for women.
really aligned towards their bodies and health and, looking good and fitness. And that's why everyone listens to the Chris Voss Show. But now they also have the benefit of what your product is and does. So give us a 30,000 overview of what your company does.
Sure. So at PurelyB, we're a leading wellness lifestyle brand in Malaysia and Southeast Asia. And we started in education, in really empowering sustainable healthy living through education, really honoring Asian traditions and cultures, what we thought was lacking in a lot of the education that was out there. But today, we also revive and re-innovate ancient Malaysian health and beauty traditions. These were the natural medicine of our ancestors that use rare botanicals found deep within the Malaysian rainforest in really unique remedies that were passed down through generations. And we make them into easy to consume, delicious, refreshing superfood blends for today's modern generation, so that everyone today can benefit from these remedies and these traditions the way our ancestors did. And that is something that nobody was doing in Malaysia and in Southeast Asia. And there was a generation gap. There was a danger of this ancient knowledge and wisdom, these remedies that were the natural medicine back in the day, of getting lost forever. And so we worked with the medical scientists and traditional herbalists to really preserve that, revive that, and then make it in a way that is appealing for today's generation.
There you go. For eons of times, our ancestors had all these different ways of dealing with stuff. And, now we deal with, we have these horrible multi-processed foods and everything else. And, you can rub aloe on your skin if you get a sunburn. But if you try doing that with a quarter cheeseburger at McDonald's, it doesn't work as well. So these ancient things are better. Now, you founded this company, I think, on a health journey for yourself. Tell us about your hero's journey through life and what got you here.
Yeah, so it's hard to pinpoint exactly how long ago I started having these long-term health issues, but I definitely was not born with them. I had developed allergies and intolerances to gluten, dairy, egg, wheat, and shellfish. And I remember it was probably my early 20s. I'm 40 right now. So in my early 20s is when I discovered all these sort of symptoms I was getting, where I break out in rashes every week. And it was like big red rashes on my face. And I would have really bad digestion and constipation issues. So I would get migraines every 2 days as a result, because my body obviously was very toxic. And so I'd feel nauseous because, you're completely blocked up and whatnot. And at the same time, I would feel really lethargic. So everything was compounded. And that was on a weekly basis on how I would feel. And because I was always a workaholic, that I thought it was lack of sleep and stress and working hard. I did not think it was anything to do with a health issue until 2015. So in 2015, I did some tests and found out that I developed these allergies, and that the root cause was that my lifestyle and my diet was so toxic that it triggered this. And over time, and my body's very sensitive, like everyone's individually very different. And I had to learn how to cut all that out, reset, clean up my diet, clean up my lifestyle, cut out processed foods, because gluten and dairy is highly processed. Those are two things that I had developed reactions to. And so my body was literally crying out for help. So what I did was, it took me a while. I had to research a lot on how to clean up my diet, my lifestyle, living in Malaysia, where a lot of the information was lacking here for this culture, whatever's available on this side of the world. Everything was in the West, in the US and the UK. So I learned from them and adapted it to my lifestyle here. But also over and above that, I went back to my heritage. I learned from my grandparents, my aunts, from traditional healers and herbalists. What did they consume? Because they're in tip-top health at the age of 90 and whatnot. Like, I want to be like, I was at that time in my 30s, and I'm feeling this way. What's your secret, right? And so going back to my heritage and really being able to learn more about these ancient remedies that they had consumed for gut health, for skin, anti-aging, for brain health, overall immunity and energy, and being able to consume that, because they had the remedies. You don't just consume, let's say, turmeric on its own. That's a great herb, but on its own is not the best way. It's not the highest potency and efficacy level. You have to drink it or consume it mixed with special other botanicals that bring out each other's effectiveness even stronger. That's a power blend, and that's what they all consumed. So I was able to get access to that. I was able to consume that while I was cleaning out my diet, and it was life-changing. So in the first week, of applying all of that. And I even started cooking because, I don't cook, but I was fascinated how to clean up my diet. And in that first week, all of my symptoms cleared up.
Wow.
My digestion was clear. My rashes, I did not have any breakouts in rashes that week. My migraines cleared up, and my energy was at an all-time high. And at that time, I had no intention of running a business. I was
You're just like, I'm healthy for the first time.
I mean, I was head of digital marketing at this big media company, but when I went through this epiphany moment that week, because I had gone to see doctors, I did colonoscopy, I had done it all. Nothing worked for me. But this, within 1 week, completely cleared everything up. That it was so shocking that I couldn't ignore it. That I needed to find a way to make this knowledge that I had gained and this experience and share it with more people. And there wasn't a single brand or platform that was advocating that sort of lifestyle change the way that I had gone through, and especially honoring the Asian cultures and traditions, like those remedies and whatnot.
Yeah.
And if it didn't exist, I needed to create it. And so that was the start of the journey. And of course, I teamed up with health and wellness experts like natural doctors, medical scientists, traditional healers, and herbalists, because I'm not an expert. I'm the target audience. And so I needed to combine our expertise to create this.
There you go. I feel your pain. I'm lactose intolerant, and I never really had been big into milk and ice cream. I've never been just an ice cream person, which is interesting because people surprised me. They're like, "You look like you ate half a gallon last night." But I never drank milk for a lot of years, and then I started getting into weightlifting, and so I was drinking a lot of whey, which comes from milk, and I started just getting really sick and just really bad, just tearing up my gut and stuff. And I thought, well, this is the, I'm lifting weights. So, this is part of my body's just flushing or something. And,
we make excuses. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But it becomes a point of nuclear fission that's going on in your underground system there in the bowels. And you start going, wait a second, man, there's milk in this. And that's when I realized that I was severely milk-toast tolerant. In fact, I'm so bad now that if I eat like a cookie that's got milk in it, it's Chernobyl around the house. It's pretty much clear the house. And so I've learned that, that these things are real. But as we mentioned before in the show, and I think most of my audience knows, when I switched to live foods and veganese, there's 250 million variations of veganese, so I'll upset someone. But basically, I was eating more plants and live foods, and I lost 100 pounds in, what was it, 3 to 4 months?
Amazing.
And people are like, "What are you doing, Chris?" And I'm just like,
"It's a healthy period."
Yeah, I'm just like, I quit eating and drinking all the pop. I couldn't eating all the crap. I ate a nice little salad, and everything else. So now you've developed this into your company. You started in 2015, if I recall rightly?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, in 2015. But we started in education, as I mentioned, because when I went through that life-changing experience, my whole thought wasn't, I'm going to create a product, I'm going to sell it. My first thought was, I need to share the knowledge. And so creating a platform that was able to share that knowledge across nutrition, fitness, mental wellness, mindfulness, and overall wellness. And we only started selling products 4 years later. So only in 2019 did we launch our products, because we had built a really strong community then. And part of why we launched in the US this year is because we started getting a following in the States as well. And we were getting not just to our community, but also buying our products when we launched it. So they would pay double the price to get it shipped from Malaysia there, plus pay customs and tax and whatnot. So we started seeing a trend of people overseas in Europe, in the US, in Australia, doing that and buying regularly. We're like, okay, we need to start really actively expanding beyond our shores, because our intent is to really benefit everyone globally with our Malaysian traditions and the heritage, and how this can help people's health naturally and beauty. There you go. So it's both health and beauty.
Beauty, and that's in addition to what you get on the Chris Voss Show. We always tell our audience on like, what does this do for you?
Right?
That's the marketing, What does this do for me, Chris? I don't care what you have to say. What does this do for me? So we always sell, you're going to be more beautiful, more intelligent, which they are, of course. And if they don't like that, well, they can come up with a class action lawsuit. I was uglier because I listened to the Chris Voss Show. No, you weren't. One thing that's interesting about your product, I'm looking over the product page, is you guys focus with this on gut health, your second brain. We've had a lot of authors, a lot of scientists on the show that have talked about this. Gut health is so important because if your gut's messed up, it causes brain swelling. It causes all sorts of stuff to go wrong. I mean, you just go off the rails.
Yeah, exactly. And that was my big health issue. I had very poor gut health, and that's why I developed all these allergies, intolerances, rashes, migraines, and all that. That was all because of my gut.
Wow.
And so, which I was not even aware of at the time. So the amount of lack of education around that, but at the same time, the solutions around that. How do you heal the gut naturally? And how do you maintain that? Right. And so it's got to be something that is sustainable. And a lot of times it is a mixture of the two. I don't believe that you should just take a remedy or a supplement and that's it. I believe it has to be a lifestyle change as well, like what you did, Chris, your diet. It has to be both for it to be optimal. Otherwise, you're sort of balancing it out, right? You're basically stressing your gut with the foods that you eat, and you're helping heal that with the supplements that you take. And it never reaches the optimal level. And so that to us is really important in advocating the two ways. It's about your lifestyle change as well as the supplements. So what we found with our first product that we launched is Pagaga by PurelyB. So that uses a 2,000-year-old herb from the Malaysian rainforest called Pagaga, which is really well known for gut health, but also well known for skin repair, anti-aging, brain function, slowing down Alzheimer's. All this is scientifically proven. It's all the research papers on the web you can find. So it's one of those rare all-in-one herbs. So in China, it was known as the miracle elixir of life and the fountain of youth. Yeah. So this particular blend that we have is also mixed with papaya leaf, which is a natural digestive aid, as well as turmeric, which is anti-inflammatory.
There you go.
Black cumin seed, green apples, and dates. So this special blend, as I told you, is like passed down through generations. It's an ancient remedy that we made into this easy, you just mix it in water and drink it kind of form. And this really number one function is healing the gut. And we've had customers where they had long-term constipation issues. Like, I don't want to go into too much detail, but maybe I should. But they'd go once a month. That bad. Once a month. Yeah. And after consuming, I mean, how do you live like that? And then after
I'd explode if I went more than once a day or less than once a day.
But can you imagine living like that? You are immune to it. You think that's normal. So
I've had a few girlfriends that were very small and dainty, and they would like every few days, and I would look at them funny, like, I don't know if I trust you when I go to sleep.
And that's every few days. This is once a month.
Oh, yeah, once a month.
Yeah. So what's going on there?
Yeah.
Exactly. And so obviously the symptoms that they would feel, I mean, they'd feel horrible on a monthly basis, like bloating and everything. And after drinking our Pagaga drink, they would tell me after the first week, they would go every day.
Wow.
And so, and then ever since then, it'd be consistent. So it's not like, if you go take a laxative or whatnot, it'll be immediate. And then after that, it just clogs you up. I mean, it's a short-term sort of gain, and it affects you longer term in a negative way. Whereas this is actually healing your gut and will help you maintain that as you go along. So that is really, really key, I feel. And so the second thing is skin, because skin is linked to the gut. So a lot of people like myself, where I had like rashes, breakouts all the time, or people have acne or like dull, uneven skin, a lot of it is linked to the gut, your diet and your poor gut health. So what we found is people after consuming this, after 3 weeks, if they had like rashes, breakouts, or acne, it would start clearing up. And they would normally before this use all these topical, skincare regime, but that is not going to help because that's on the surface. It's from the inside that's the root cause of why your skin is breaking out the way that it is. And you have to address that. Otherwise, all those skincare products are only going to do so much. So we would see that. So we have a monthly subscription. Our regular customers are those who have digestion issues, skin conditions or just have dull skin. Like they want to be radiant, they want to have healthy skin, or they want to be youthful, because anti-aging is a key part of it. But that's not the gut health part. That is Pagaga naturally produces collagen in the body. And it's also skin regeneration and skin repair properties and whatnot. So it has that on its own, even without the gut health element. So just in terms of beauty and skin, it's quite a powerhouse in that.
There you go. A mixture of everything. And what form does it come in? Is it like a powdered form that I can put in a shake?
It comes in powder. Yeah. So you can put it in a smoothie, in a shake. You can put it in your granola cereal. We even make it into cookies. We have something called Pagaga cookies that we work with marginalized women in Malaysia to create. So we create jobs with them every month, so they earn an income and livelihood in baking these Pagaga cookies that we sell to the community. Yeah, so there's so many ways you can consume it, and you get all the benefits in an interesting way. It's not just standard. Yeah.
Hey, whichever one of you work with that makes the best tasting cookies, can you find out if she's single? No, I'm just kidding. My local. I'll move to Malaysia. If I can find a woman who makes great cookies, I'll move. Like my grandma, my grandmother's great cookies. There's a farm that we have down the road that I get all my fresh food from, and it's locally sourced farm. It's a hydroponic farm, so it runs year round. And the quality of food that you taste from them is like 10 times different. It's way better quality, but they make cookies over there, and half the time I just go over there and they're like, "Hey, you gonna buy any more stuff, Chris?" I'm like, "I just came over and get a cookie." So you have another product, I think, tiger milk mushroom. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So tiger milk mushroom is very, very rare. It's a 400 real mushroom that's found also deep within the Malaysian rainforest. That's what we really try and focus on. And that is, it's specifically for lung health, anti-inflammation, immunity and energy as well. It naturally produces energy in your body, but where the specific powerhouse benefits is it helps if people have got sinus, asthma, cough, cold, flu, bronchitis, long COVID. During COVID, this was remedy for a lot of people, where they would come to me and say, "Jess, my symptoms are horrible. I just got COVID. What would you recommend?" And I said, "Okay, definitely take tiger milk mushroom." And when they consume it, they would recover within a day. Wow. And so I know it was crazy. So we worked with the scientists, really renowned. They're the pioneer scientists behind this mushroom. They spent 20 years in research on this specific mushroom, tiger milk mushroom. And it's amazing because it was really the cure for our former prime minister 20 years ago that spurred the research when he had a chronic cough. He's 90 years old today. And he really talked about it in the media. He said, "This was recommended to me by a scientist. Why is there not enough research behind it? Because this cured my chronic cough." And so it was sort of crazy around that nobody had done substantial enough research. So 20 years ago, that's when it all started. And since then, all these clinical trials and so on have run around this tiger milk mushroom that's found only in Malaysia. You can only find it in the Malaysian rainforest. We'll find one mushroom growing every 10 kilometers, unlike other mushrooms that you'll find growing in schools. It's so unique in that way. And so our product, we make it in a way where it's almost like pixie sticks, where you can tear it open and you drink it straight. So this is a tiger milk. So you got sachets inside, and when you take it straight, it melts in your mouth. It's like sour candy. Because we mix it with elderberry. Yeah, we mix it with elderberry and red grapes. Kids are addicted to it. When I went to the US and went to events, people were like, "Oh my God, it's like candy." But it takes them back to their childhood. But at the same time, it doesn't feel artificial because there's only natural sugars from the elderberry and the red grapes. That's the sour candiness that you're getting. And it helps to combine with the tiger milk mushroom so you don't taste a mushroom taste of it. And in terms of tiger milk mushroom, ours is in extract form so that you don't need a lot. That's why you only need a small sachet. You only need that small amount to get the benefits for, let's say, someone who has, trouble recovering from a cough, cold, or flu, or wants to prevent it long term, or someone who suffers from sinus and can't sleep properly at night and whatnot. It helps so much For me specifically, I don't have problems of asthma, sinus, anything like that. But I had problems of allergies, as I told you. And so sometimes I would break out in rashes here and there if I eat a bunch of gluten, dairy, egg, wheat, red meat all in one shot. Then I still would get those reactions a little bit. And I would also have like a runny nose and flu-y kind of symptoms. I started taking tiger milk mushroom consistently every day. I don't get those symptoms anymore. And I don't even need Zyrtec. You know, sometimes you need Zyrtec on a standby and antihistamine. And I would need to do that. Sometimes if the symptoms get bad, I just need a Zyrtec so I can recover fast. And when I tested out the tiger milk mushroom blend for the first time, and I had eaten all those things because I was supporting a cousin's restaurant opening, and I was like, I'm just going to eat it anyway and support him. I didn't need a Zyrtec. And I just waited to see. I was like, okay, just let the symptoms come and let me see what this tiger milk mushroom did. And I didn't get any other symptom. That was the moment I said, we need to launch this product. And so that, because I have to be a true testament to everything that we do. So I work with the scientists, the traditional healers and herbalists, but I need to test it out for myself. And then I can be a real, genuine testimony and advocate, and why I'd be so passionate about bringing it to the market.
I'll have to run it by my mom. My mom has really bad asthma and allergies. She struggles with her asthma a lot. So I'll have to run it by her. And a tiger milk mushroom, this has been a rare edible